Hey everybody, Adam Savage, and I'm at the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery in their conservation lab with head conservator Abe.
Hi.
So nice to
Nice
meet you.
to meet you.
You are also paper conservator.
I am.
And we have some paper to talk about.
Yes, some very special paper.
Tell me about this.
This is a letter from George Washington to the artist Gilbert Stuart, and it's about his sitting for our portrait that we have in our America's Presidents Gallery. It's called the Lansdowne Portrait.
That's a really famous.
It's very famous.
Famous.
Yes.
Well, it's what we think of when we think of like the image of Washington in our heads.
Yeah. So this is his letter to Gilbert Stuart, and it essentially asks him, I am supposed to sit with you. What time should I come and where should I meet you? He signs it, your obedient servant, which is very interesting. So this was written in 1796. And then you'll see below the letter is some other notes that Gilbert Stuart made later.
He's just writing across the president's writing.
Yeah, so basically this bottom section was written in 1823, and it basically says, I was looking through my papers trying to find a letter with George Washington's signature on it, and this is it. And then he goes on to talk about, I have this inscriptions because this transcription because it's hard to read. So he says, in looking over my papers to find one that has the signature of George Washington, I found this, asking when he should sit for his portrait, which is now owned by Samuel Williams of London. I have thought it proper it should be his, especially as he owns the only original painting I ever made of Washington, except one I own myself. I've painted a third, but rubbed it out. And then he dates and signs it.
I looked over pictures of this one before we came, and it's about a third smaller than I expected.
Yeah. So the other very cool thing about this letter is that it's written on a handmade paper that George Washington had produced for his writings that he used throughout his presidency. And it has a watermark. I'm going to turn the light on. It has a watermark in the center of the sheet, and you can see it's been cut in half. So this is actually half of a sheet.
That's it. Because I think I've seen letters that were
longer.
That size.
Yeah. So I think this is really cool. It's really fun to think about where the other half could be.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Someday you might find it.
Maybe.
I'm also surprised I didn't realize we had such laid paper like that back then.
Yeah. So this paper was probably made somewhere in Pennsylvania at one of the paper making mills that were prominent during this time. You can see this is a drawing of the watermark. So
says it's his name.
It's got
watermark.
his name.
That is as fancy as it gets.
It's very cool. I love it.
I love this system that everyone did of just a single piece of paper that you folded in.
So if we turn the light off. So it was folded in half, and then it was folded again into a small square and then sealed with this wax seal. And it just says, Mr. Stuart, Chestnut Street.
That's it. That's all it was required.
That's it. And then it was delivered.
I'm curious about the wax seal. I mean, you sit here with this on your desk, but you must be at some point picture Washington
stamping it,
making that mark. Is it always the same kind of wax or the same material that he's using for the stamp?
I think so. I looked at a lot of these, but so it would have been a similar wax. This wax actually is in really good condition for its age. You see it's cracked, but it's still pretty intact.
Yeah.
It was stored really well until we received it.
You're grateful for that.
I am, yeah. I mean, you could see that it has like a lot of stains and folds and creases, but that's really all part of its history. Yeah. And it shows its age, which I think it's important.
And these guys were writing like dozens of these every night. When I read about their correspondence, it makes me tired just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It must, your obedient servant, he even abbreviates servant.
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy to think of his hand making these marks.
Yeah, so at some point, you can see that there's losses in the corners. At some point, someone had tried to fill in with some lettering, and that was really modern. So what I've done is, when talking with our historian and our curator, And because that was a more modern edition, we decided we'd erase that because it was really distracting to look at.
But again, it's such a narrative, all of the aging and the color differentials. Actually, yeah, I just noticed the darker bands on the outside.
Yeah. You can really see that here.
Oh, there you go.
And someone had, it's almost like a blue ruled paper.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where the paper came from or when it was attached, but it's really well adhered. So we decided we'd leave it on.
Fair.
It was important.
You're often dealing with your forebears.
Yes.
Limited bits of knowledge.
Yes.
It's also funny how hard it is to read Washington in that signature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Okay. What a fabulous G. Look at that G. What's going on? More of a flourish than I would have expected from him. He seems so staid. And what are the sort of hidden things you can learn when you're working with these pieces? Does it ever like personalize the humanizes the person to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most interesting part for me was this this watermark, and then also just the way that this inscription. Thinking about how Gilbert Stuart just found this in his studio, probably just rummaging through his papers, trying to find this letter, and then he just writes right on top of it because it wasn't as precious to him as it could be for us.
Yeah.
So
but it becomes this marvelous thing that we have all the evidence
documentation, and then this is by a different hand, and then you have kind of these drops of ink splattered, and then it's. I love the way to think about the way this was folded and kind of in this little almost origami kind of shape to get it sent through the post office.
And it must have been odd. They did it so often, it must have been almost automatic, right? Just like this autonomic muscle memory. And then handed to someone to go deliver to Chestnut Street. Eam, this is so thrilling to see this. Yeah. I love paper stuff more than almost anything because I'm sure the tiniest fraction of it survives today, right? And so there's such an amazing sort of ticket to the past.
Yeah, and this was really well cared for. Somebody had a restorer, a conservator treat it, trying to mend these tears and really keep it protected. When we received it into the collection, it came in a frame. And so we are installing this in our America's Presidents Galleries this summer. So it will be displayed in a case like this. So we won't be keeping it in its frame.
So it'll be like sort of floating? Mm-hmm. Amazing.
And so I actually just pulled out some Japanese papers that I had used to do some of the repairs. Some of along the creases where they were very delicate.
So these are places where when you're handling it, you can see it's just super delicate.
Yeah, so really reinforcing those creases so that they don't tear more when we're handling. So this is a Japanese paper, mulberry fibers, and they're you can see very thin, but also very, very strong. And we use these papers in mending.
Do you use what kind of glue do you use?
We use a wheat starch paste.
So you can undo it.
So that it can be reversed with very little moisture.
Just like a little mist?
Just very, very little. So you can see. So
you're doing the least. You're using the least amount of mechanical on it as well. That's amazing.
So.
I'd imagine sometimes the previous conservation efforts are like, oh, why did you do that? But also like, they were in the right place. Their heart was in the right place.
Absolutely. And, I don't think this is bad conservation, but, this is just the type of work that was done at the time.
You must be excited to get to see this in its final form.
I am. Yeah. I think it's going to look really great in its case, and it will be near the Lansdowne Portrait. So you'll be able to read the letter, look at the portrait.
I imagine it's a cool museum from your vantage point because you have personal relationships with so many of these objects over time.
Yeah, and then it's really fun to see the work that you've been looking at for so long up on the walls that other people can come and look at.
Eam, this is so thrilling. Thank you so much for taking me on a tour through this. Incredible. Two only remain as above stated.
Yeah.
And you can watch them all by clicking on that link.